"Sir, are you all right? Why are you crying?" she asked softly. The man slowly lifted his head. His face looked pale. You can see me?" he asked in a trembling voice. Ujunwa frowned. "Of course I can see you. Why are you crying here all alone?" "You really can see me?" "Thank goodness. For days I have been here, calling out to everyone who passed this road, but no one stopped. They all walked through me like wind. I died 3 months ago and I was buried 2 weeks ago in this village. But my spirit has refused to rest. Please, I need your help." Ujunwa was shocked to her bone. She began to shake and the pot fell from her hands, shattering into pieces. She screamed so loudly that it pierced the bush. Before the man could say another word, Ujunwa turned and ran, faster than her feet had ever carried her. She didn't stop to look back. The morning sun had just begun to rise over the quiet village of Umwede. Dew clung to the tall elephant grass, and the soft hum of birds filled the air. From the narrow footpath leading to the stream came the voice of a young girl, Ujunwa, singing cheerfully as she balanced an empty clay pot on her head. Her voice echoed through the trees like music carried by the wind. She was 18, full of life and laughter. Everyone in the village knew her for her smile that could melt even the hardest heart. The stream was her favorite place, quiet, cool, and always whispering secrets through its running waters. But that morning felt different. The air was unusually cold for a sunny day. The birds suddenly stopped singing. Even the crickets went silent. Ujunwa slowed her steps, looking around. The trees swayed gently, their shadows long and strange. Few meters to the stream, she heard a faint sob. At first, she thought it was the sound of water trickling over stones. But no, this was deeper, broken, like someone in pain. She walked towards the sound, turned her head, and that was when she saw him. A man sat on the ground beside the stream path, his head buried in his hands, shoulders shaking as he cried. His clothes were drenched as if he had fallen into the river, and his bare feet were covered in mud. Ujunwa's heart skipped. She hesitated, clutching her water pot tighter. "Sir, are you all right?" she asked softly, stepping closer. "Why are you crying?" The man slowly lifted his head, and her breath caught. His eyes were red, not from anger, but from endless tears. His face looked pale, almost lifeless. You can see me?" he asked in a trembling voice. Ujunwa frowned. "Of course I can see you. Why are you crying here all alone?" The man stood up slowly, his expression filled with disbelief. "You really can see me?" "Thank goodness. For days I have been here, calling out to everyone who passed this road, but no one stopped. They all walked through me like wind." Ujunwa stepped back, confused. "Walked through you? How? What are you saying?" They took a deep breath, his lips shaking. "I am not among the living. I died 3 months ago, and I was buried 2 weeks ago in this village. But my spirit has refused to rest. Please, I need your help." Ujunwa was shocked to her bone. She began to shake, and the pot fell from her hands, shattering into pieces. She screamed so loudly that it pierced the bush. Before the man could say another word, Ujunwa turned and ran faster than her feet had ever carried her. She didn't stop to look back. Her heart pounded against her chest like a drum. Branches tore at her wrapper as she burst through the bush path, her voice echoing through the village. When she finally approached her mother's hut, she began to scream even louder. "Mama! Mama! Oh, I saw a ghost! I saw a ghost by the stream!" Her mother, simply called Mama Ujunwa, came rushing out of their small mud hut, hands covered in flour from pounding yam. "What nonsense are you shouting this early morning?" "Mama, I saw him. A man crying by the stream. He said he was dead." Mama Ujunwa's face hardened. "So, you want to tell me you saw a ghost, eh? That's why you left the pot and ran away? Lazy girl, you just don't want to fetch water." "Mama, I swear." "Swear what? You think I don't know your tricks? Go inside before I use this on you." Tears welled in Ujunwa's eyes as she looked at her mother. The disbelief hurt more than fear. She wanted to scream, to insist she wasn't lying, but the words stuck in her throat. She couldn't even tell her that she broke her pot out of fear. Mama Ujunwa sighed and turned away. "You'll fetch water tomorrow morning, and this time you won't come back until that pot is full." Ujunwa went inside quietly. Her heart still pounded. She sat on her bamboo mat, staring at the doorway, afraid to blink. Later that night, Ujunwa couldn't sleep. The moonlight spilled through the cracks of the bamboo window, casting long shadows on the wall. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face pale, drenched, and crying. His voice echoed in her head. She sat up on her mat, sweating even though the night was cool. Her mother was still awake, tidying up some clothes. "Mama," Ujunwa whispered, clutching her wrapper tightly. "I am not lying. I really saw him, the man by the stream." Mama Ujunwa didn't look up. "You're still on that matter?" "Mama, please believe me. He said no one could see him. He said he was dead." The older woman slammed her hand on the table. "Enough, Ujunwa. You are becoming stubborn. Instead of fetching water, you are inventing ghost stories. You will go back to that stream tomorrow morning. If I hear another word about a ghost, I will punish you." Tears filled Ujunwa's eyes, but she nodded. "Yes, Mama." She lay down quietly, her heart heavy. Soon, she dozed off. The next morning, the world looked normal again. The sun rose bright and golden, the stream path busy with girls laughing and gossiping. Ujunwa made her way to the stream, this time with her friend Obiageli. As they moved closer to the stream, Ujunwa's hands began to tremble as she carried a new clay pot. Her friend Obiageli noticed. "Why are you shaking like that? You've been quiet since we left the house." Ujunwa bit her lip. "Obi, I saw something here yesterday. A man." Crying profusely, Obiageli laughed. "A man crying? Maybe he lost his slippers." "No, Obi, he said he was dead." Obiageli stopped walking, her laughter fading. "Don't joke with such things. Are you serious?" "I swear I saw him," Ujunwa responded. Obiageli looked around nervously, then forced a smile. "Let's just fetch our water quickly and go home." They reached the stream. The water glimmered under the sun. Everything looked peaceful. No man, no strange cry, nothing. "See?" Obiageli said, scooping water. "No ghost here. You just imagined it." Ujunwa sighed with relief. Maybe her mind had played tricks on her. Maybe it was all a dream. 2 days later, they went again, still nothing. No sound, no shadow, no man. Even the air around the stream felt lighter, normal again. Ujunwa began to believe it was all in her head. But on the third day, everything changed. Obiageli had gone to the market with her mother, so Ujunwa went alone. She didn't want to, but her mother's sharp warning still rang in her ears. With her pot on her head and fear in her chest, Ujunwa walked down the narrow path. The forest was quiet, too quiet. No bird, no sound, just the whisper of the stream ahead. She knelt by the water's edge, dipped her pot, and that was when she heard it again, the soft sobbing. Her blood ran cold. Slowly she turned, and there he was, the same man, sitting on the same spot, his clothes still wet, his eyes still full of pain. Her heart jumped into her throat. She dropped the pot and turned to run, but a voice stopped her. "Please, don't go," she froze. His voice was not angry, it was pleading. "I won't hurt you," he said, stepping back and raising his hands. "I just need your help." Ujunwa's voice shook. You're the ghost from the other day." "Yes," he said softly. "You're the only one who can see me." The wind rustled through the leaves. A bird screamed in the distance. Ujunwa wanted to flee, but her legs refused to move. "Why me?" she whispered. "I don't know," he replied, tears glistening again. "But you have to listen. Please, you are my only hope now." Ujunwa took a cautious step back, keeping her distance. She could feel the air around him grow cold, yet something in his tone sounded human, desperate, not evil. The ghost cleared his throat, his eyes fixed on her. "Let me tell you how I died. My name is Tobechukwu Nuwokolo. I am from this village, but was born and raised in the city. My parents lived there all their lives. My father was a successful businessman. He owned companies, houses, and large lands both in the city and in Umwede, our hometown. My mother was a schoolteacher kind, humble and deeply respected by everyone who knew her. I was the first child, and I had only one sibling, a younger sister named Chiamaka. We were happy our home was full of laughter and peace, but everything changed when I turned 12. My mother fell sick suddenly. She was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. She spent months in hospital, had series of chemotherapy sessions, but in the end, she died. Not long after, my father also died. His death was so sudden that many said he was poisoned, though the doctor said it was cardiac arrest. My father didn't have any written will prepared before his unfortunate demise. So all his companies, houses and properties were placed under the care of his younger brother, my uncle, Chief Okafor. He promised to manage everything until I was old enough to take over. The elders of Umuwede and some family members agreed because I was still a boy. My sister and I grew up under his care. He sent us to good schools. He made sure we never lacked food or clothes. I thought he loved us. I thought he was protecting our father's legacy, but we were wrong. After I finished university at the age of 25, I went to him and told him I was ready to take over my father's businesses. He smiled and told me not to worry, that he was preparing all the documents and would hand everything over soon. Months passed and nothing happened. Each time I asked, he gave one excuse or another. One evening, he told me he wanted to surprise me. He said he wanted me to travel abroad for my master's degree, that it was what my late father would have wanted. I believed him. He paid for everything, my flight, my tuition, my accommodation. I left for London. While I was abroad, my sister began to call me. She told me that our uncle had started selling some of our father's properties, claiming he needed money to maintain the rest. I wrote to him about it, but he ignored my letters. I knew then that something was wrong. When I completed my studies, I returned to Nigeria. My uncle was shocked to see me. He asked why I didn't stay back abroad and get a job there. I told him I wanted to take over my father's estate and restore what was left of it. He smiled again and said it was good that I came back. He told me we would go to sign the official transfer documents with the lawyer. Some days later, he came to my house looking cheerful. He said, "Tobechukwu, tomorrow morning we will go to my lawyer. I have finished preparing the papers. It's time you take full possession of your father's properties." I was filled with joy. I thanked him and even told my sister the good news. The next morning, he came for me as promised. We went to his lawyer's office. Everything seemed genuine. The lawyer read through the documents. I signed. My uncle also signed. The lawyer handed me my copies. My uncle shook my hand and said, "You are now a man." I believed him. I left that day with a grateful heart, not knowing he had an ulterior motive. A week later, I was found dead in my house. The news spread fast. My uncle and my sister cried bitterly. They took my body home to Umwede for burial. Everyone said it was a sudden sickness. No one suspected foul play, but my spirit did not rest. When the truth was revealed to me after death, I knew peace would never come until justice was done. My uncle had planned everything from the beginning. He had paid someone to eliminate me quietly, without trace. That night, after returning from an evening walk, I retired to bed early. The house was quiet. Around midnight, I heard footsteps in the living room. I thought it was a rat at first, but the sound was too heavy. I stood up and opened my door to check. The lights were off. I looked around but saw no one. I went back to my room, thinking my mind was playing tricks on me. I didn't know that while I stepped out, someone had entered my room. When I came back, I noticed a strange smell, sharp and heavy, like a mixture of chemicals. Before I could understand what was happening, my eyes began to burn. I rushed to the door to run out, but it wouldn't open. It was locked from outside. My room had no window. I shouted for help, but my voice became weak. My chest grew tight. My legs gave way. I crawled toward the door, banging on it, but no one heard me. I breathed in the substance until everything went dark. That was how I died. Not by sickness, not by accident, but by the hand of my own uncle. And now I cannot rest until the truth is brought to light. My uncle walks free. He still lives like a king, respected by everyone, while I wander in silence. But now that you can see me, Ujunwa, I know the gods have chosen you. Help me, tell my story. Let the world know how I died. For a long moment after he finished speaking, silence hung heavy over the stream. The only sound was the slow, mournful rush of water against the rocks. Ujunwa stood still, her heart pounding painfully inside her chest. She didn't know when tears began to fall, but they did warm and endless. "I am so sorry," she whispered at last, her voice trembling. "I am so sorry for everything you went through." Tobechukwu said nothing. His eyes held that same sadness, calm but endless, like a man who had long forgotten what peace felt like. Ujunwa shook her head, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. "Your uncle is wicked, truly wicked. How could someone do that to his own blood?" She looked at him again, her face full of pity. "But I don't think I can help you." The ghost looked at her, startled. "Why not?" "I am just a young girl," she said softly. "I've lived all my life here in Umwede. I only just finished secondary school. I've never even been to the city. I don't know anyone there. I don't even know how to begin something like this. And besides," her voice broke, "I have no proof. Nobody will believe me if I say a ghost told me his story." For the first time, Tobechukwu's expression changed. The sadness deepened into fear. "Please, Ujunwa, you must try. You are the only one who can hear me." She shook her head. "Even my own mother didn't believe me when I said I saw you. She called me lazy. How will she believe that you were eliminated?" He took a deep breath, his voice trembling with quiet desperation. "Then try again. Tell her my name. Tell her my story. Tell her I am Tobechukwu, the only son of Chief Nwokolo, who was buried here not long ago." He paused, looking toward the trees as if the wind carried his unfinished pain. "I wandered in the city for months. I cried out to my sister, to my friends, to everyone who once knew me. But none of them could see me. None could hear me. Only you can. That means something, Ujunwa. Maybe the gods sent you." She stared at him, her heart heavy. She wanted to run, but something stronger held her: pity, fear, and a strange sense of responsibility. "I will try," she said at last, her voice almost a whisper. "I don't know how, but I will tell my mother." Tobechukwu's face softened. "Thank you, Ujunwa. You don't know what this means to me." The weight of his sorrow hung in the air like mist. For a brief moment, it felt as if the world around them was holding its breath. Finally, Ujunwa bent down and lifted her water pot. Her hands trembled slightly, but she managed to fill it. As she turned to leave, she glanced one last time at the stream. The ghost was gone. Only the rippling water remained, glistening under the faint sunlight. As she walked home, her heart pounded with fear and confusion. She had promised a dead man, and somewhere deep inside her, she knew that promise would change her life forever. By the time she reached home, the sun had almost disappeared behind the tall palm trees. Her heart was still beating fast, and her feet felt heavy as she entered their small compound. Her mother, Mama Ujunwa, was sitting by the fire roasting yam for supper. "Mama, I saw him again," Ujunwa said quietly, gently placing her pot beside the door. Mama Ujunwa froze, then sighed deeply. "Not again, Ujunwa. Mama, please listen to me this time. His name is Tobechukwu. He told me everything." Her mother frowned. "Tobechukwu? And who is that?" Ujunwa took a deep breath. "He said he's a ghost. He told me about his life, his parents, and how his uncle killed him. Mama, he was crying. He begged me to help him." Mama Ujunwa dropped the stick she was using to turn the yam and stared at her daughter in disbelief. "Are you out of your mind? What kind of nonsense are you saying? Do you want people to call me The mother of a mad girl? I am telling you the truth, Ujunwa cried, tears filling her eyes. He said his uncle poisoned him in his own room. He said no one knew what really happened and that everyone thought he died from sickness. Mama Ujunwa folded her arms, shaking her head slowly. So now you're telling stories of dead men? What next? You'll start saying the trees talk to you. Enough of this foolishness, Ujunwa. I warned you about sitting under the sun too long. She turned back to the fire, but Ujunwa's heart wouldn't let her stop. Mama, please, just listen to what I am saying. He said he had just returned from studying abroad, that his uncle took him to the lawyer's office, and the lawyer gave him all his father's properties. 1 week later, he died mysteriously in his room. He also said, Mama Ujunwa raised her hand sharply. I said enough, she snapped. Do you think I have time for your ghost stories? Go and wash up before I use this firewood on you. Ujunwa's tears spilled freely. She ran into the house, hurt and frustrated. She wanted to stop caring, but something in her heart wouldn't let her rest. That night, while the moon glowed softly through the cracks of the roof, Ujunwa sat on her mat and whispered to herself, Maybe Mama will never believe me, but I promised him. I have to try one last time. The next morning, she woke early. The cock had just crowed. Her mother was outside sweeping when Ujunwa walked up to her. Mama, she said quietly. Her mother didn't answer. Mama, I know you don't believe me, but please hear me out for the last time. Mama Ujunwa sighed and leaned on her broom. Go on, let me hear this one that will finally make sense. Ujunwa took a deep breath. Her voice shook, but she spoke firmly. The man said his name is Tobechukwu, the only son of Chief Nwokolo. He said he was buried here in Umuwede not too long ago. He said no one believed the truth about his death. This time, Mama Ujunwa froze. Her eyes slowly widened. The broom fell from her hands. What? What did you just say? Tobechukwu, Ujunwa repeated softly. The only son of Chief Nwokolo. He said he was recently buried in the village. Mama Ujunwa stood still for a long moment. Then she slowly sat down on the wooden stool beside the doorway. Her eyes looked distant, as if she was searching her memory. I know that name, she murmured. I know it very well. She looked up at her daughter, her face pale. Chief Nwokolo's son, Tobechukwu, was buried not up to 2 months ago. My friend Ngozi, she's married into that family, invited me for the burial. Everyone said the young man was found dead in his house in the city. They said he died in his sleep. Ujunwa's heart raced. Mama, that's the same story he told me. He said he was poisoned in his room and that nobody knew. He said his uncle did it. Mama Ujunwa looked at her daughter for a long, uneasy moment. The fire from the previous night's yam roasting had gone out, but somehow the air between them felt hot, thick, and strange. Ujunwa, she said quietly, are you sure about this? Ujunwa nodded. Yes, Mama. Mama Ujunwa sighed deeply and rubbed her chest. God in heaven, she whispered. If this is true, if what you're saying is real, she rose slowly to her feet, tying her wrapper tighter around her waist. All right, I will go with you to the stream today. Let me see with my own eyes what this is all about. Ujunwa exhaled in relief. Thank you, Mama. Moments later, they stepped out of the compound and began walking toward the forest path that led to the stream. Ujunwa's heart pounded. She kept glancing at her mother, wondering if this journey would end in proof or more disbelief. Mama Ujunwa, on the other hand, said nothing. Her face was serious, her steps firm. When they reached the stream, everything looked normal. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and the forest whispered softly as the wind passed through the trees. There was no sign of anyone. They waited. Minutes passed. The only sound was the gentle rush of the stream and the distant caw of a crow. Mama Ujunwa folded her arms. "Well, Ujunwa, where is your ghost?" she asked with a hint of impatience. Ujunwa looked around, eyes scanning the quiet banks. "He was always here," she murmured. "He never left this place." She turned slowly and then froze. There he was, standing on the other side of the stream, dressed in the same clothes as before, his eyes fixed on her, calm but heavy with sorrow. "Mama," Ujunwa whispered, her voice trembling. "He's here." Mama Ujunwa looked around sharply. "Where?" "There," Ujunwa pointed, her finger shaking. "By the rocks. Can't you see him?" Her mother squinted, but there was nothing. Just water, rocks, and trees. "Ujunwa, there's no one there," she said firmly. "Mama, he's standing right there. He's looking at us." Ujunwa turned to the ghost. "She can't see you," she whispered. Tobechukwu nodded slowly. "Only you can. But she can hear through you. Tell her I am here, and tell her to believe you." Ujunwa's voice wavered. "He said he's here, Mama. He said you should believe me." Mama Ujunwa stood still, her face pale but composed. "Ask him what exactly he wants." Ujunwa looked at Tobechukwu again. The air around him shimmered slightly, as though he were fading and reappearing with each passing second. "Tell her," he said, "to go to the city, to a place called Uwani Estate in Enugu. That's where my uncle lives. A big white mansion with 2 lion statues at the gate. Everyone there calls him Chief Okafor. He still controls everything my father built." Ujunwa repeated every word. Her mother listened, her eyes wide. "He said," Ujunwa continued, "that his uncle's house is in Uwani Estate, Enugu, the one with 2 lion statues at the gate." Mama Ujunwa swallowed hard. "And then what?" Tobechukwu spoke again, his voice low and firm. "Tell her also about my own house, the one where I died. It's not far from my uncle's place, just across the same street. A small duplex with a broken balcony rail and a black gate. Inside, in my bedroom, near the windowless wall, there's a small crack behind the wardrobe. Tell my sister to check there. She'll find a small metal box. I hid some of my documents and my father's original property files inside before I died." Ujunwa repeated it all word for word. Mama Ujunwa's hands trembled slightly as she listened. Tobechukwu continued, "My sister lives in Nsukka at Noma 14 Onyema Close, near Street Peter's Catholic Church. Her name is Chiamaka Nwokolo. She's married, but she never believed my death was ordinary. Tell her I sent you. Tell her I said she should go to my house, check that box, and she will understand everything." He paused briefly before adding, "And tell her that I will be there before you arrive. She won't see me, but she will feel my presence. When you speak to her, mention these words exactly. your brother said. The smell came before the silence. She will know it's me. Ujunwa felt goosebumps rise on her arms. The smell came before the silence, she repeated softly. Yes, Tobechukwu said. That was how we used to joke as kids when any of us farted. We knew who did it by his or her silence. Ujunwa smiled gently, then turned to her mother again. He said to tell his sister Chiamaka that the smell came before the silence. He said she will understand. Mama Ujunwa stood quietly, her eyes darting between her daughter and the still stream. Finally, she said, "All right, Ujunwa. If this is what it takes to end this matter, we will go." Tobechukwu's voice softened. "Thank you. Tell her I am grateful. Tell her I will be waiting." The wind grew still for a moment, and then he was gone. Ujunwa blinked. The spot where he had stood was empty once more. The air felt lighter, but something sacred lingered like the echo of a prayer. "Let's go home," Mama Ujunwa said quietly. "We have a journey to make." As they walked back toward the village, neither mother nor daughter spoke. The next morning, Ujunwa and her mother stepped out of their small compound, carrying a small bag and the weight of a promise. Mama Ujunwa didn't have much. As a widow who had known hardship and hunger, life had already shown her enough cruelty to last a lifetime. Yet, something about Tobechukwu's story had touched a deep place in her heart. The injustice, the betrayal, the pain of dying unheard. She couldn't ignore it. They boarded an old bus heading to Enugu. The road was long and dusty, but neither of them spoke. Ujunwa clutched her small purse tightly, whispering silent prayers that this journey would bring peace to the restless soul who had chosen her. Her mother, on the other hand, stared out the window, her mind torn between fear and faith. But little did they know, they were not just travelling to help a ghost find justice. They were walking straight into the lair of a man whose heart was colder than the grave itself. Chief Okafor was not an ordinary man. He was powerful, cunning, and dangerous. And before their mission was over, both Ujunwa and her mother would learn that some wars between the living and the dead are not easily won. The story continues. Watch out for part 2.